Monday, March 5th, 2018, Monaco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. So I'm just going to look at the markets this morning. We seem to have a strong dollar and a strong gold price and falling stock markets. Stock markets are continuing to go lower. There are some interesting headlines. I personally think the direction of the market is already been baked into the markets, and yeah, the headlines might impact the markets a little bit, but I don't think it's changed the trend that we've seen since the beginning of the year for the last few months. Personally, I think we have been in consolidations in a lot of markets, and now we're going back towards the trends in stock markets. That means lower, in precious metals higher, and currencies is a little bit different, I think, because it looks like the dollar is strengthening a little bit this morning, but we still got good resistance in the dollar index, just above where we are right now. So let's look at the markets. It's just before 8 o'clock London. So spot gold is $13.27, up about $4. The overnight range has been $13.20 to $13.28. Silver is $16.54, up about 2.5 cents. The range has been $16.47 to $16.61. So fairly narrow range, I would say. The Dow is down 192 points, the future, or 0.78% at 24,340. The S&P, which was up on Friday while the Dow was down, is now down 24 points at 2666, or down almost 0.9%. So it's underperforming a little bit, kind of catching up on the downside with the Dow. The NASDAQ future is down 65, or just under 1%. In terms of currencies, we've got sterling down 0.25% at 137.70. We've got the euro down almost 0.33% at 122.84. But the dollar is down 0.33% against the yen. Dollar index is actually up 0.2%, just above 90. And as I said in my video yesterday, the 90 to let's say 90.5 level is a good resistance for the dollar index. So the other market that we've been watching is, of course, the 10-year yield, or the treasuries. The price has gone up a little bit this morning. The yields have dropped quite a bit, 4 basis points. We're at 282. That could be related to events in Italy or Europe in general. We had a general election in Italy, and the headline here from Bloomberg is that populists break establishment grip in quest for power. Even though there's no clear winner, the 5-Star Alliance, which is, or 5-Star Movement, is an anti-immigrant. It's like a more to the far right party. Their founder, I don't think he's the leader of the party now. Forgot his name, but he's an Italian comedian. I think a few years ago I saw him, do a show, a comedy show, and he was actually making it funny how money works, and saying how central banks create money. So interesting, people winning elections in Italy. Berlusconi's party did do well, but not as well as expected, and it looks like with Italian politics, it's a big mess. There's never a party or coalition that seems to have enough power to form a government. So this is going to be interesting. That 5-Star Movement is also, I think, very anti-EU. So that's why we need to keep an eye on the euro as well. And that could help the dollar and might not necessarily hurt gold, because gold today is doing well while the dollar is doing well as well. What else have we got? Well, there's a lot of news about this trade war that's going on. You know, well, with the states. You know, with Trump. Headline on Bloomberg says Trump advisor sees no tariff exclusion as U.S. allies protest. So the Trump advisor is Navarro. He's very, you know, tough on trade. I personally think tariffs and quotas are not the solution. You know, the solution to the problem of trade imbalance is to have a honest measure of value in the global monetary system, a measure of value that doesn't change at the whim of politicians and central bankers. And we all know that, you know, the measure of value, monetary measure of value par excellence or par excellence is gold bullion and silver to that, for that matter as well. Silver has been part of the monetary system, even though it was a long time ago. And what that does, it actually irons things out. It, you know, it's very difficult to maintain trade imbalances when you're in an honest system where you actually have to pay for goods and services in honest, real money. You know, because if you don't and you keep producing deficits, you're going to run out of money, and you can't have that. But in the current system, what's been happening is that if you run out of money, you just keep printing it. And especially when you have the, how can I say, the reserve currency, you know, is it any wonder that the United States has got so much deficits, you know, be it budget deficits, be current account deficits, be trade deficits, because the world needs the dollar. And the U.S. keeps producing it. You know, that's their biggest export. The U.S.'s biggest export is debt. So is it any wonder they can keep running these deficits? Because they've got there's no accountability. The U.S. doesn't run out of money because it can just produce it out of thin air. But if they were if the world was in an honest system, there would be very little trade imbalance. I personally think the free markets would win. You would, you know, of course you'd have to have probably some trade agreements between countries, but I think it would be much easier. And I think they're looking more, the U.S. and Trump administration or any other country that uses tariffs and quotas to try to balance trade. They're looking at, you know, they're not looking at they're trying to cure the symptoms of the problem. They're not trying to cure the problem itself. They're not looking at what's causing these. And it's a shame because I think the Trump campaign and up to, you know, for election in 2016 had an advisor. I forgot her name now, but and I've talked about her, an economist who said that the best way to balance trade was to go back on a gold standard. But unfortunately, Trump didn't, you know, hire her for his team once he became president. He hired this guy, Navarro, who's, in my opinion, a lightweight. He doesn't really know what he's doing. And I think it's a shame because that's not going to solve the problem. Maybe the markets will force, you know, the world to go back on a kind of honest system, but I doubt it. Politicians always screw things up, unfortunately. So yeah, that's what's going on this morning. So we have slightly stronger dollar on the back of you know, European political events maybe. We've got stronger precious metals, and the stock markets are continuing lower. Of course, it's only 8 a.m. London, 3 a.m. New York. A lot could change until the U.S. comes in. We could see the Dow up by the time the U.S. markets open, and we could see gold back down. We'll have to see. But that's where we are right now. What about cryptocurrencies? What are they doing this morning? Yeah, Bitcoin is still quite steady. It's been trading around 11,500. Hasn't really moved that much. Ripple is doing well, up 7% this morning. Ethereum 865, not going anywhere too quickly. EOS has rebounded a little bit. It's at 821. We've dropped to around 7.5 yesterday. So that's it. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share it. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet, and you can also follow me on steemit.com and on Twitter. I'll talk to you later. Bye.